Okay, this is the Base Canon podcast number 5, I think. We have myself, the Taco Bell Lord Swam himself, Lost My Sandy, and the Platinum 7. How is everyone doing? I guess. I think that's how normal people greet each other.
I'm fucking amazing.
Think we're all good here.
I'm fucking amazing.
Did whoever it was that had that little RC car flying around the room, did you stomp it to death so it won't do that again? Because
that was most likely me.
Because that shit destroyed my left eardrum.
Oh.
RC cars' lives matters, guys. Come on now. Don't be like that.
So, Ian B's prophecy of the end of Souls has come.
Yeah, for like
What do you guys all think of the DLC? We'll answer one at a time. I choose Skid first.
I made the poor fucking decision to go in with my Juggernaut character in New Game 6, and it's made the DLC a little bit more difficult than I think most people's experience. Then I went back, because I was like, fucking Meteor, I'm never gonna get that katana, so I went back in normal New Game and just fucking wiped the floor with him. Felt like a god, and I'm like, okay, I think I've got his moveset down. I go into New Game 6, get one-shotted. Just completely fudged myself as soon as I got in the boss room. So that's been my experience.
Overall, what are your thoughts?
It's pretty good. I would say as a finale to Souls, it's pretty good as a standalone DLC. But I think they somewhat shit the bed as far as it being the final bit of content we'll ever get, which I don't think it will be.
Well, for some time.
As part of the trilogy, it is. The trilogy, there will most likely be another Souls game because Bandai Namco loves money, and Dark Souls, as of right now, is a cash cow. And also, Miyazaki has said that if someone else wanted to make a Dark Souls 4, that he'd let them. And also, there's the B Team and the new Souls-like game from Software is going to be coming out in the next few years.
Born of Blood.
Also, who doesn't love money?
Anyway, Lost, what do you think of the DLC? Have you played it any?
Yes, I have played it. I streamed everything in one go, and I thought it was fucking amazing first round through. After I've, relaxed a bit, calmed down, calmed my nerves, changed my pants, I feel like it's a very good 8.5 out of 10. I wish they used inserted a bit more interesting elements in the Dreg Heap, the beginning area. I would like to see different towns from Dark Souls 1, Vinheim, for example. That would be fun to see. The Ringed City part of it, that's very good. So yeah, I was fairly happy with it. I wish more fan service perhaps, but I'm very happy with it.
Yeah, it felt like the fan service was almost like lacking, and that I expected a father mask that wouldn't have had any equipment load bonus. I expected one, or like, I don't know really what I expected. I expected something with Solaire for sure. Like I was expecting that, and then also like. I was just expecting more trademark things from Souls, and instead we got this like stealth Souls thing, which I enjoyed. Anyway, Platinum, what are your thoughts on it?
I mean, I like the DLC. I thought it was pretty good. Definitely better than Ashes of Ariandel, which I always hated that I could just run through the entire DLC on that one. It took me like maybe 15 minutes to get through that Ashes. And for Ring City, it actually takes me a little bit because there's actually something that can stop me, like those arrow guys, which I'm pretty sure you've all died at least once or gotten lost like almost all your health there.
I can confirm I did. Yes.
Yeah. Weapon-wise, I'm enjoying what the DLC is giving us. Except I'm not liking how everyone's kind of spamming the L1 on the paired greatswords. That's kind of annoying. Not when you're 1v1, but when you're like in a gank trying to kill the host and you just get clipped by one paired greatsword L1, you're pretty much dead.
I really like going into the duels with people that are trying to spam that with my Zweihander and just fucking golf swinging them about 3 times in a row.
Yeah, perseverance or any poise. That's you're basically gonna kill them. Really funny.
As far as weapons go, I love the shield doors. I've had so much fun with those weapons. You know, just blocking people's paths, pushing people off cliffs. It's been great.
The doors?
Personally, I felt like there were a little too many fire-based weapons in the DLC. But that's just a personal nitpick, and I had fun with all of them. And so I have a follow-up question. When Bloodborne's DLC came out, I believe that was its last patch. I don't think it had a patch after it. It might have had one small patch after it to balance, but if Dark Souls 3 has a new patch, which I'm sure it will, what do you think they will rebalance? Do you think they will rebalance anything? And what do you think the meta will look like?
Undoubtedly, the L1 twin greatswords are gonna get nerfed all to shit. And then I think
the Exile Greatsword is gonna get nerfed.
I think the Exile will. The first time I fought that after the patch, I sort of made Wii on myself when I got two-shotted by it, so...
I was actually streaming the patch when I found that I just checked my strength build. I was going through all the infusions, what they changed and everything, just going through my strength build, and then I see Exile Greatsword. I just passed right by it, 681 AR. I'm like, oh, okay. Wait, what? 681? What? Why so much? I couldn't believe that From gave the heavy Exile Greatsword an S scaling in strength, basically making it stronger than the Fume. And you know, the Fume weighs like what, 24.5 units, and Exile only weighs 18. It's great balancing on From's part. So I'm pretty sure they're gonna nerf Exile.
The Fume Ultra Fun Sword has had a fucking rough life in Dark Souls 3.
It has. Like everyone complains
I believe
about it.
if Ouroboros makes a video about any particular OP thing, it is for sure going to get nerfed. I think this is prophecy. He made the fucking Fugs thing, the Sellsword thing, and they all got nerfed. So...
I really hope he makes a video reviewing the textures, like in the Drag Heap, and they're like, fuck that, and they make it more blurry. They nerf the fuck out of their own textures in the game level. That would please me.
Oh, Skid, I actually
have all of you beaten the DLC?
Yeah.
I beat it before.
So, spoiler alert, if anyone hasn't beaten the DLC that's watching, you can skip to whatever the fuck I think might have an annotation. Or we might not. Fuck you. Whatever. But what are
Fuck
your
you,
favorite,
whoever's listening to this.
What are your favorite bosses, or whatever, favorite elements of the DLC?
Right off the bat, I would say Meteor, because I immediately got fan art of his asshole whenever people started to find out what he was, and that was pretty interesting to open Twitter up to see. So besides that, I would say Gale, because he's like Artorias but not, then the Chaos things, and then the Get Ganked boss would be my last one.
Yeah, Gale is definitely my favorite. Just thematically, it's awesome. The fact that you are fighting basically the Dark Soul is great. I just love the way the fight, grows from beginning to end, and I think as far as bosses are concerned, I really enjoy the bosses that we got. I really do think they were pretty good.
I think the
Yeah.
DLC bosses are the best in the entire game. Like, that's including Ashes and Burial, except the Champion Gravetender for obvious reasons, but Freyd and Ariandel and all of the Ring City DLC bosses, except PvE-wise, I don't think the fucking PvP boss is all that good.
Yeah.
Just
Especially-
as a me running through the game type thing, I don't like that boss.
Yeah.
But Meteor, the Demon Princes, and fucking Gale were all really cool. And I thought Gale had a lot of like elements of the Executioners from Bloodborne, where like he had the Executioner gloves and shit looking thing always coming out of him. I don't know if any of you thought of Bloodborne whenever you fought Gale.
Oh,
but
you mean the skulls? Those little skulls
yeah,
that would
like the floating like orange skulls and shit
yeah, those things. Yeah.
that
I mean, I
continuously spam towards you. I thought
of
those
the
looked
bosses. Yeah, of the bosses, I thought Gale was the more like reminiscent of Bloodborne. His movement, how it kept changing throughout the fight. Like I think like you get him down to 30%, that's when he enters phase 2. Then you get him down. You get him down like the first 30%. That's when he turns phase 2. Then another 30%, he turns phase 3 in the arena. There's like lightning striking everywhere, and he's jumping around shooting you with his crossbow. I like that. I was able to beat him on my first try. But the boss that took me the most is Meteor. He definitely took me a couple tries.
Oh,
after
a
a
couple
while.
of tries, eh?
Yeah, a couple tries. I'm exaggerating, a couple tries. Yeah, but the most disappointing boss for me was definitely the Spears of the Church, whatever that boss was, because I actually did it while online, got a caster, so he didn't know what to do when I rushed him down. So it turned out to be a very boring boss fight. Every time one of those painted guardians would spawn in, immediately kill him, and while he's in the background kind of casting at me with his crystal soul spear, I would just like kill the painted guardian and then rush him, and he just backtracked. So that boss fight just turned into roll catches, and yeah, so that boss was definitely the most disappointing, but just because I got that one player who had to ruin the entire experience of that boss fight. Couldn't have gotten anyone else, but nope, just got a caster.
I don't know
The
if
thing
anyone
is,
else.
Go ahead.
I don't know if anyone else has had it happen, but I haven't gotten the Covenant yet on some of my characters, and I still get fucking summoned into that boss fight.
Really?
I haven't had that happen.
I have that
I'm
happen.
thinking that's a bug.
I have that happen every fucking time I try to play through it with another character.
That's strange.
Yeah.
Sometimes it
I
takes
think
me so
actually
long.
Sunlight Blade. I think actually Sunlight Blade managed to invade a battle that was already underway. So he had got two bosses in one go.
Yeah, and they could kill each other.
Yeah, it's kind of funny.
I mean, that would be a great troll video right there, trying to find a way to just kill the boss, like become the boss and then kill the other boss so that the host can actually win. That would be great. Fighter, get on that if you're watching.
Dark
Also,
Souls 3, Ring City trolling, boss invasions, gone sexual, number 15.
Has he made his door video yet?
I haven't checked. We called it like pre-DLC release.
The door deals, the door trolling. I really want to see it.
I can fact
Anyway,
check right quick.
The Half-Life or whatever boss is a little weak to me, especially compared to the Looking Glass Knight from Dark Souls 2, because I felt like that was like a legitimately good boss, and then you also had a summon there, like fighting you as well.
Swim.
And the DLC boss, it's just not bad, not good at all.
I want to interject. He did make that video 3 days ago.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, so right fucking on.
Pay attention to the community there, guys. For shame.
There's so many of us.
I
that
don't
it's
watch
really
anyone's
hard to tell.
videos in the community.
I hate you.
If I wanted to,
Skid lost and Adam,
Oh,
almost
oh,
exclusively. I also watch.
I love you again.
I watch Oatstarva sometimes, and then I of course watch my boy Marcus, also known as EMB.
If I wanted to watch the same video 600 times, I would watch Fighter PL regularly, but I typically don't.
His work ethic is amazing. He's able to pump out a video every day, I
It's,
think, and then
That is
I
impressive.
release a video every week.
Impressive
I release
amount.
I either release a video every 2 weeks or a month. I never have time to actually like record anything.
I'm
Especially
waiting
now.
until I get 100 subscribers before I get another video out, just as a meme, and it's gonna be my 100 subscriber special. So viewers, get prepared to that. Go to my YouTube and you better smash that sub button.
the only content creators I really watch are the ones that do something different and really try to make Dark Souls, their videos unique, like Ots with his game show thing and all the other
Oh, that
weird.
was great.
Anyone that takes Souls a little too seriously, I really love laughing at, but I don't really watch them. I just watch, like, my friend Fnc has videos fighting like Yukis Legion and Peeve and shit like that. Just
Oh yeah,
videos.
I fought FNC. He's a pretty good player.
Fnc is fucking amazing. He's
Yeah,
like he's
I
like
fought
the
him
best
when I was-
Bloodborne player, hands down.
Yeah, he still plays Bloodborne, which, dang, that's amazing.
He plays
don't think
Bloodborne like a solid 10 hours a day still.
I've never thought that many people, that someone would actually put that much time into Bloodborne, especially when like the community's so small for that game, when the online
Well,
like.
It's still
like
kind of sizable. It still has its like, if you go back to Dark Souls 1, you know, like, I don't know if any of you guys watch Dark Souls 1 on Twitch, but there's like this little herd of streamers that will just stream one after another, and then they'll just host each other, and then all of the viewers will just go there and PvP for like 24 hours a day. It's just a continuous squad of people. So like Dark Souls 1, if you go to the right areas, you'll continuously be invaded. It's kind of like that for Bloodborne. FNC.
How many people watch that?
Like,
Quite a few.
Dark Souls 1, well, Spades gets about 40 viewers, I think. 30 to 40 viewers. But I think that's because Spades is who he is. But it's like Spades, Bragon Jin. I don't know if you guys know it. Any of these guys. These are Dark Souls 1 Twitch streamers. And then FNC does Bloodborne, and he basically has the same effect, but it's smaller. But he does have the continuous like 10 people that are playing Bloodborne. So Bloodborne's pretty active if you go to any of the Nightmare realms. It's basically their pontiff area. But what's cool about FNC is that he's basically tested like every gym, and whenever I've played a lot of Bloodborne, but when I like have a problem that I need fixed with Bloodborne, like if I need to know what optimization to go, FNC like has already made that build. So on my max level, I was like, hey, what would be the most damage possible? And he basically limit breakered me and was like, this is the max damage possible for Bloodborne. And it's fucking amazing. Also, another good Tolo and Dargon Souls are like the best PvEers I've seen for Bloodborne. They do the blood level 4 and D+6 shit. And Tolo does the no roll blocking or parrying. They're fucking insane. Anyway, I'm gonna fuck off of Bloodborne. Game Theory is my favorite meme, and I'm pretty sure it's Skid's favorite meme in the Dark Souls series. And they just kind of stole Sunlight Blade's thumbnail
Oh yeah.
Yes, I
Yeah,
saw that
and
on Twitter.
that was I haven't seen their video yet. I was preparing to for this podcast, but I thought this podcast was gonna be like tomorrow. I was gonna have a whole bunch of shit to say about it. But Game Theory has made it was like the game fight thing or whatever the fuck that they have, the Deadlock. Yeah, that's what it's called.
Yes.
And Matt Pack was on Deadlock with this fucking. He was basically what I imagined Peeve to look like, is who Matt Pack was like, quote unquote, fighting. And this guy was like, Dark Souls 1 sucks because the rusted iron ring is found in the asylum, and the asylum's second appearance is like very like random that you would find it, and it's not like shown to you, and the rusted iron ring is such an important ring to traverse through Blighttown that you just have to have it. So Dark Souls 1 just sucks.
I'm
And
probably
while they
through
were
that,
saying that, while they
But
were
you
saying
get through
that, they
like
were
5
showing a whole bunch of Dark Souls 2 footage, and I think they were simply bait, and that's the conclusion that me and Skid have come to that. Anyway, continue.
I want to go on a bit of a tangent for just a minute about that, because I talked to Swam about it a lot, and they know exactly what the fuck they're doing. Matt Pat is a YouTube analyst first, ex-content creator second, and they do this kind of shit. They steal the thumbnails, and they make these outrageous fucking stupid theories, and they do it on purpose, because they know how close-knit and what a niche Dark Souls is, and the people that really like it really fucking like it. So they like to make this bullshit to trigger people, because more comments, more likes, and even more dislikes means their video gets more and more promoted. And I wouldn't have a problem with that. That's making them more money. That's their own thing. But what really kills me is that tons of other people that are new to Souls come in, they see this, they're like, holy shit, fucking God Matt Pat says this, Dark Souls, and then they come into the community and start infecting people with this kind of bullshit. But, I mean, it's smart on their part from a business standpoint, but they know what the fuck they're doing.
I played through the entire game the first time around without actually finding a way back to the asylum, and I loved every second of it, even Blighttown. That Deadlock video was just one sad argument after another, in my opinion. I couldn't find myself to even... I tried to look at it from his point of view, but saying flat out that Dark Souls is a bad game, then you're just out for triggering people. I would have to agree, yes.
Well,
I mean,
the
I didn't
whole
see
cheap
the video.
death thing was weird too. Sorry, Platinum. The whole cheap death thing in Dark Souls 1, I've neck-bearded Dark Souls 1 quite a lot, and there aren't that many cheap deaths if you really look at it. I've been really, like, trying to find the cheap deaths of Dark Souls 1, but you can basically dodge everything, and Happy Hob has no-hitted Dark Souls 1, so you can play throughout the whole game without being hit once, clearly. So I
I've
feel like the
never
Deadlock thing was a
actually
little bit
gotten
of
to see
cancer.
that video. I never got to see that video, but the fact that he's saying that, oh, you need the ring in order to get through Blighttown, kind of shows that he doesn't know what he's talking about, because there's literally areas on the side you can stand on, and you just bait enemies to come in, or you can just like run through everything. Even if you don't have the ring, you still kind of like, you can do like those little fat rolls or whatever it is, and you can still like iframe through attacks, and it's like the most you'll spend in that area if you run through it is like what, like 2 minutes, like maybe. If you run through it, it's like you never even need the ring. You just need to get to what's her name, Queelag, kill her, and you're done with that area. That's it. Never had trouble on my first playthrough. I didn't find the ring either. I basically just walked around the edge on the safe spots where I was actually able to be mobile, killed everything, and that's it.
I
No big deal.
I imagine the guy in the video is one of those people that played through it one time, his FPS chugged, and one of the little fecal demons running around Blacktown bit off his nipple tit and killed him, and he just quit the game right there. And that's who they brought on, because he looked like a neckbeard.
Yeah, exactly. Like, a lot of the critics of Dark Souls 1 haven't really played the game. I remember IGN's video of Dark Souls 1 and 2. They had only gone through the first few areas in the review, which I can also understand, because the IGN review of Dark Souls 3, they were given review copies of like the first third of the game to review, I believe.
Oh.
And then, so I can understand that, but at the same time, they never made like a follow-up to that where they like explore the whole game. And I remember Dark Souls 1 got like a 7 out of 10 or something like that, which is by IGN's standard very low. And I think that's because From Software didn't pay them. Although Bandai Namco is a huge company, so I might not know what the fuck I'm talking about.
I think to really experience Dark Souls 1, like one of the main areas is the Undead Burg. That's like one of the necessities. But in Orlando, that's like the best part of the game when you first see
The little
that.
reveal. The reveal.
DLC as well.
Yeah.
And then after Anne Orlando, except for the Artorias of the Abyss DLC, the game slowly sort of goes downhill. But fucking Anne Orlando, that's one of my favorite moments in all the video games I've ever played.
Like all the other areas, it feels like the FromSoft kind of ran out of time, so you know they kind of like try to salvage whatever they had. I mean, prior to that, the pacing of the game felt pretty good, especially if you have the key that opens up the shortcuts and you're able to breeze through the game and everything. God, can I just say that was like the best part of making a PvP character, is just like when you make a new one, just get the master key and just run through the area. You already know what you got to do. Run here, pick up this armor, pick up this, and you're basically done. You get your build in like, what, a couple hours? Dark Souls 3...
Black Knight Halberd was my favorite.
Dark Souls 3, not so much. You gotta run through the entire game if you want to make a new build. No shortcuts, no nothing. That's what kind of makes me sad.
It's annoying.
I mean, Dark Souls 2 and 3 are pretty much very linear games. And
Dark Souls 2 was a linear game to you? I felt like that was the most non-linear. I felt like Dark Souls 2 was the most non-linear.
To me, it feels like it felt like when you start off the game, you can go like either path, and it's just like a straight line there to the end of that one path, and then you got to go back to Majula, and then you got to take the other path and go straight through there. That's what it felt to me. I know there's like shortcuts to areas and stuff like that, where like that bird takes you to I forget that area, the one where those mummies with the scythes are walking around swinging at you. Yeah, so, but to me it felt like really linear. I mean, Dark Souls 3 feels linear, but I'm not a PvE guy. Everything I do is PvP related on my channel, so it doesn't really bother me. But you know, I kind of wished I got more mobility, kind of more of a chance to explore, kind of like I did in Dark Souls 1. But hey, we got what we got.
The level design of Dark Souls 1 is very vertical. You know, they built the game on top of each other, as well as branching things out. So, from design-wise, Dark Souls 1 is probably the best game. How it loops
Except
into
Tomb of the
itself.
Giants and Izalith, in my opinion. Those are the only two areas which, like, I can't play.
I've suppressed those memories. It doesn't exist. No, don't talk like that, man.
I like the Crystal Cave though. I do like the Crystal Cave, and I like the DLC. But after Anne Orlando, oh, and the Kiln of the First Flame. So I do like the end game, but like the Tomb of the Giants and Izalith are shit, in my opinion.
Kiln, oh my god, I wish Kiln had come back. When I saw that in Dark Souls 3, and I saw the Kiln, I was all like, oh my god, is this gonna be great? No, it's just like a straight path up. Just like follow this little hill up and there's a boss. I was so disappointed. I wanted more. Couldn't they just brought back the Kiln from Dark Souls 1, give me that entire area to invade in?
The Kiln's in the DLC, is it not? Like, the Guile, that's... That is the
No.
kiln, is it not? Or
Is
no,
it?
that's just
No,
it just looks
isn't
like
that
the kiln.
yeah? Just isn't that well, spoilers for anyone, but this is what I thought. I thought that was the ring city, like kind of in the future, or kind of
Oh
like
yeah, it is.
a mirage or something. Because when you wake up Filianor or whatever, like kind of like Anor Londo when you kill Guinevere and then the mirage fades, sunlight's gone, and it's all dark. That's what I thought. Either that, or it's like you're teleported to the future or something, and Gale's right there. You fight him and all that stuff. Yeah. I mean, you got Firelink. Firelink is the Firelink Shrine from the original Dark Souls 1 is the boss arena for the first boss in the Ring City DLC.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
demon.
Prince. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
I do want to bring it back for a second. You guys were talking about the linear stuff. And there's a moment in the original Dark Souls which I don't think any game has ever matched. It hasn't been replicated. For me, was finding the shortcuts, like the church in the middle of the Undead Burg, going down that and finding out it was right there. You know, you're right back at where you started. And
Oh yeah.
that's a feeling I haven't felt in any other game. And what kills me, it makes me somewhat sad, is that they tried in Dark Souls 3, but all you do, like with your first high wall bonfire, there's that little shortcut that leads down the Vort off to the right. But in every level it's the same thing. You just run through the level, you get to the end, there's a shortcut back to the bonfire. There's no real, you're running through a level, you go down and you miraculously find that there's a bonfire.
It's because they try to make like a blend between Demon Souls, like the warping system where you go to worlds, and in like Dark Souls 1 I always felt that the reason that the world was really interconnected was the fact that the hub world was kind of like the center place, and then they designed around that and they just expanded outwards and on top of each other. Whereas Dark Souls 3, they put like Firelink Shrine, they put it in its own world, and you got to warp to the actual map where everything else is connected. So there they kind of fucked up and basically had to make it into like a flat land in order to make it okay. Just keep going, just keep going, keep going. Whereas everything else in Dark Souls 1 is like stacked on top of each other, side by side. Always a different route. Always a different route wherever you go. So it's just how they designed it. So I'm pretty sure that they're not gonna be able to replicate what they did with Dark Souls 1.
Yeah, they fucked up pretty hard. I think letting players teleport at the start of the game was a huge mistake. I think that should have been something to be earned.
Yeah, you gotta streamline it for those new players, you know? You gotta, because they don't have the time to like put effort into their games anymore. So you gotta handhold them.
Yeah, casualization.
I have a new question, and I've already talked to Skid about the majority of these questions I've been asking, but what are all of your guys, like, if you'd have to rank the Souls games from 1 to 6, how would you have that? Like, Demon Souls, Dark Souls 2, Scholar of the First Sin, Bloodborne, and Dark Souls 3.
Well,
or what's your favorite to save time there? That's
Demon Souls. Demon Souls is definitely my favorite. Not even
and then what's your
debate.
least favorite? Favorite and least favorite.
Well, you know, it's kind of a boring answer, but my least favorite is going to be Dark Souls 2. And listen, I'm a defender of Dark Souls 2. I actually liked the game. I played the game a lot, but there's no question it's the worst of the Souls series. But even being the worst in the fantastic series is still pretty good.
Well, do you like Dark Souls 2 or Scholar of the First Sin more? The vanilla or the remaster more?
I played the vanilla more, but it's you're I'm up against the ropes now, Swam. That's a difficult question.
I never got to play that. I never got to play Scholar of the First Sin.
And by vanilla, I mean vanilla with the vanilla DLCs on that, like the 360 or PS3 version. I don't exactly mean like that without the DLC, because I think the second DLC is the best part of Dark Souls 2. But what I mean is like the remaster or the original version.
gotta go with the remaster, because the remaster then gave me something. The remaster actually moved the series forward. If it hadn't been for the fact that you have Scholar of the First Sin, Dark Souls 2 would just be another cycle, nothing special about it. It's just, here we go again, and it doesn't add anything. With Scholar of the First Sin, you at least get some information that tells us what happened in Dark Souls 1, which is probably Dark Souls 2, in my opinion's largest sin, that it doesn't really progress anything. The Scholar of the First Sin, which is what's his face, the big head,
Aldia.
Yeah, thank you, Aldia. You know, he tells us that the first sin was probably the linking of the fire, which tells us that, hey, that's unnatural. It's not supposed to be like that, and he was so afraid that he did it. So, yeah, I would have to go with the Scholar of the First Sin.
What about you, Skid? Who do you think is the worst and the best?
I've talked about this before, and I always look at it two different viewpoints. I look at one way PvE and the other PvP, and you know how it works on YouTube, sub count equals validation of opinion. That's why Swam's opinion carries so heavily. But with me, from PvE standpoint, I would say Dark Souls, the original, is the best, and then Dark Souls 2 being the worst. But from a PvP standpoint, I would say Dark Souls 2 is the best, and Bloodborne being the worst. And I know you've got a fucking chub on for Bloodborne's PvP. I just despised it. And I think all the Souls titles are amazing, and it's really a blessed thing that we can debate on which is the best out of a really great series. Because most games, there's like always one really good one or two good ones, then just complete piles of turd, and people are like, oh yeah, those are the bad ones, these are the good ones. But with Dark Souls, it's pretty debatable among what your preference is and what you like doing. So, like I said, Dark Souls for the best PvE, Dark Souls 2 for the best PvP.
And like, these are just all opinions, but you know, people still get mad when you say something about their favorite Dark Souls game. For me, I'd say like
my opinion isn't fact.
No, it's not. It's not
fuck.
facts.
You're not the.
Okay.
You're just the
Okay,
one that
so I'd
makes.
say, like,
You may have made the pale man, but you're not the pale man yourself. Your word is not law.
I'd say like my favorite, the Dark Souls was Dark Souls 1, PvE and PvP wise. I mean, that was the first one I played, and then I got pretty good at all the mechanics, toggling, move swapping, weapons around, backstab escapes, all that good stuff, dead angles. I was able to get all of that stuff down, and the PvP felt good. But I kind of have to agree with what people say, like, it wasn't the best designed PvP. The reason why I liked the PvP was because all this tech and all this stuff that you could learn to counter some stuff that you couldn't counter, like kind of like people spamming ultra great weapons and stun locking you forever. That was kind of a problem. But with toggling, it made it like actually like you could actually escape. You could actually do something and not just stand there and take all those hits. So I mean, it's just preference, but I like Dark Souls 1. My least favorite, Dark Souls 2. Played it for 3 months and then just completely let go of the game afterwards. Never played the DLC, never got Scholar of the First Sin, and it's not it's not because the game is bad. No, I liked it. I like playing the game, but for me the replay value comes in the PvP, and if I can enjoy the PvP, then I could play the game for quite some time. But for that, Dark Souls 2's pacing, the combat, there was just something about it that didn't click with me. The animations, just something about the game itself, how it worked, how it moved, it didn't work with me. So when I played it, I felt like it was more of a chore to do what I wanted to do rather than actually enjoying the fights. So eventually I just let the game go, and you know, I would go on streams and watch people play the game, invade and stuff like that. And yeah, I mean, nothing bad against Dark Souls 2. It's just I didn't like it.
Well, Death Swarm, What I already know what your favorite is, but why don't you tell everyone else?
My favorite's Bloodborne. I really, really love Bloodborne.
Mm-hmm.
And my least favorite one is probably Kingsfield.
I see.
No, my least favorite one in the whole series is Dark Souls 3.
Really?
Because yeah, I feel like just like it's the easy version of Dark Souls 1, and I try to replay Dark Souls 3 like all the time. I make new characters on streams and stuff. I'm like, I'm gonna make a new build. And I get to like level 30 and I'm like, this is boring as fuck. And then I just stop and delete that character and then try again the next day. And in Dark Souls 1, I could make a new character and like Platinum said, like a few hours. And with the mule, I mean, you don't have to make new characters. You just like load them in and you're good to go. Dark Souls 1 is just top tier for that. But I don't have the same opinion about Dark Souls 2 that you guys do. I think Dark Souls 2 is good, but that has a fuck ton of problems. Well, I mean, you guys said that it's good, but I think it's like great. And that the PvP, I've probably put the most amount of hours into Dark Souls 2's PvP. But Bloodborne, just like as a world, I think is a lot better than any of the other Souls games. And I know that Bloodborne isn't a Souls game, quote unquote.
Close enough.
But I mean, it is at the same time. So if we're not counting Bloodborne, I'd say Dark Souls 1 is my favorite, but Dark Souls 3 is by far my least favorite because it's like they just dumbed down everything for Dark Souls 3. And
Yeah, you can't
that's why
please
I'm
everyone.
really worried that if they do a remaster of Dark Souls 1 or Demon Souls, they would just patch all of the tech from Dark Souls 1. I mean, I don't really know about the tech in Demon Souls.
Yeah.
But in Dark Souls 1, I mean, all of the tech is glitches, so I don't know why they wouldn't patch all of those, if you know what I mean. And then they would just make Dark Souls 1 more like Dark Souls 3. So I'd much rather just a, like, Kingdom Hearts HD 1.5 plus 2.5 version of Demon Souls and Dark Souls 1, where they just put them in a collection and put it on PS4.
Yeah, don't touch the game. Just put them on a collection and leave them be.
Maybe put them, no, don't put them on 60 FPS because that would fuck it up.
I just think it needs a visual upgrade, and they need to add my plume in. That's really about it.
Yeah,
I would love it if they remastered Demon Souls, but I would like it if they removed the carry weight thing, because that was just annoying.
Sadly, I don't think we're ever gonna see a Demon Souls because.
But I wanna.
because who is
money.
it that shares? Who is it that shares the IP with FromSoft? Isn't it Atlas or something? And they're not gonna. It's like it's split between FromSoft, Sony.
Atlas was the North American.
Yeah. So and Sony, I think, published it in Japan, over in Asia, wherever.
Sony owns it. Sony like owns the IP, but then there was like Japan Studios was, I think, the Japanese thing. I might be completely fucking incorrect there. It was some fucking other thing. It was Sony and then some other thing, I think, or it might have been just Sony. And then Atlas did North America and I think Europe.
Yeah, so I mean they got a contract with them, so I don't think it's gonna happen either way. Even though I want to play Demon Souls, I only got to play it a little bit. But in that little bit, I discovered push locking. That was fun. And just pushing people and stun locking them for forever. That was fun. But yeah, I never got a chance to actually get into the Demon Souls. But I really wish that they'd make that again. And then for whatever Dark Souls sequel they're gonna make, hopefully they don't make it for a while.
Well, the the Nintendo Switch development list, and I know I go on about this a lot, and it probably annoys some people, but it has From Software, Bandai Namco, and Atlas as the development people on the Nintendo Switch, and I think Dark Souls 3 might be coming to that system, but then another From Software IP, I believe, is coming to the Nintendo Switch.
Holy shit.
And that's basically all I wanted to say about that, because I know Skid's gonna meme pretty hard on me about that. But,
I'm extremely uneducated on the Switch, other than I'm not gonna get it for Zelda. That's pretty much it.
It's just a portable system, and the reason why I'm excited about a portable Souls is pretty self-explanatory. And Miyazaki, it's kind of hard to like read all of these articles because A, some of them are false, and B, translation errors. But it seems like they're saying if the Switch sells well, that they'll release Dark Souls 3 on the Switch, and that it is already running on the Switch. That they just need like the
sales
vote of
numbers,
confidence, I guess, to put it on the Switch, like, and launch it. And then if that sells well, that we might get a Dark Souls 1 and 2 on the Switch.
I was wondering where you were going to go with that, because I know you hate Dark Souls 3. I was wondering if he's going to carry his hate around with him everywhere he goes.
Well, I don't hate Dark Souls 3. Like you said, all of the games are good. But I think like a portable version of Dark Souls 3, I'd be more inclined to play that than a home console version of Dark Souls 3.
The Switch is easier to throw, I would assume.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be the demise of so many Switches.
Mm.
Oh, it will be. That's
Yeah, they need a Dark Souls 3 specific case for the Nintendo Switch. That's like, it's like coated with whatever plastic the Nokia phones have, and it just makes
just
it
wrap it on there.
indestructible.
Yeah, whatever wall you're gonna throw your Switch into, the wall will be damaged, but your Switch will be fine.
Yeah, the Switch will go through your wall. It's like wrapped up with Kevlar, bulletproof glass, diamonds.
It just at that point, I think it'll be a weapon. So anyone next to you, or anyone pisses you off,
you could just
or anyone messes you up trying to kill a boss, I think they would be inclined to murder them with the Switch.
Oh, I think you could be a Crime Stopper. You see some guy try and take Mrs. Brown's purse, fucking throw that shit like Oddjob and decapitate his ass on the train.
I just want Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild on the Nokia phone. That's what I want.
I would love to play that game.
Still haven't played Breath of the Wild. I've been searching for that for a while. All the GameStops in my area, they don't have it.
Or...
Yeah, Wii U. Trying to buy it on the Wii U.
It's the same game on the Wii U.
Yeah, it's the same game. It just looks a little like graphics are a little faded, but you know, I really don't care about graphics.
I'm not a graphic guy at all.
I just want to play the damn game. I'm not gonna spend however much, what, $400 for a Switch for one game, and then wait 6 months before I can play another decent game. Well, what do they got on the Switch? Sniper Clips, Bomberman, all that stuff. No, nothing.
Yeah, they have Sniper Clips, Bomberman. They have I Am Setsuna, which is a Square Enix game, and then they also have this game called Fast RMX, which is like their F-Zero game. Sorry for just completely shitting on you, Lost, but I'm in the zone. All right, and then,
I enjoy it, man. I enjoy it.
Oh wait, you have the Switch?
No, I enjoy
being
shitting.
shit on. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
And then there's Fast RMX, which is the F-Zero game, and then this month there's Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So that has the new battle mode that was missing in Mario Kart 8, and then it's also 1080p and 60 FPS. So that has me orgasming just a little bit because Mario Kart 8's like the fucking best.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still just gonna wait for it, you know. Price drop and better
I'm gonna
games.
wait for a price drop for sure. And
Yeah.
by the
Yeah.
time Dark Souls 3, if it does even come, I mean, at this point, it's debatable if it's ever gonna come to the Switch. But From Software is on their development list that they were like promoting pretty heavily. So I think there's a good chance that we'll see some sort of From Software IP in the near future. But whenever that happens, it's gonna be like whatever special edition comes with that shit. And whatever fucking Dark Souls amiibo, I am looking really forward to that, by the way. Could you imagine like a Guinevere tit amiibo?
Hmm.
I could
That'd be
imagine it.
pretty
I
good.
can't see it happening though.
It's good. I know you would get an Ornstein amiibo.
If I knew what an amiibo was, I probably would.
It's like the little action figures. It's like action figures that you put.
I mean, you could give me
It's
pretty much
hard to
any.
explain. It's an action figure that unlocks shit in a game, and
Yeah, it's a
Nintendo's been doing
collectible
this
that-
since like 2011.
Pretty
It's
much.
a collectible that you place on your Wii or whatever fucking system you have, and it gives you like some sort of unlockable in the game that you're playing. It's pretty much it. It's just Nintendo's way of saying, "Hey, buy our shit. We got these collectibles here. So how about you give us money, and you know you can say, oh,
Yeah.
I have a collectible link."
It's a
No.
redeem code in action figure format.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty much anything Ornstein, I'll get. I've only got a T-shirt that's not something I can wear because it's too small. But
Isn't there an Ornstein figurine by like First Four Figures now? Didn't they do Ornstein and Artorias?
if
I'm not
there
sure
is,
about that.
if there is, I haven't seen it, which would be pretty rare, seeing as how I've scoured the internet for Ornstein stuff. I know in June they're making a statue like the Artorias one. I'm gonna buy the shit out of that. I've got some other stuff that people are making for me that baffles me as to why they're making stuff for me, but they're like, hey, look at this suit of Ornstein gear I'm making you. I'm like, holy shit. What are you doing with your life?
So are you going to do like cam stuff at that point, like have a drama alert, but Ornstein alert?
I'll probably just go to really random places and do stupid shit, like go in front of my neighbor's trailer and just like dance in front of his house, just because of how outlandish it would look. But
You need a Dragon Slayer spear.
I'll just get like a pitchfork and like throw it at people and then put it on YouTube.
You need a spear with a corn dog on it.
I do.
That's
It could
what you really need. And then we need to all go to TwitchCon. And Adam needs his armor gear as well. He needs his silver mask and his Black Knight halberd, or Black Knight great axe and buckler.
You see, no one would probably take me seriously. They would see Adam wearing that mask and think he's a terrorist, and he would just get tackled by security.
And then if I was dressed as Shaggy, I'd just be some guy. So
You'd just be some fucking nerd dressed as Shaggy.
I just take off my shirt and paint myself white.
You may also get
exactly.
fucking football Goldberg speared for being a terrorist. I don't know. Some sort of
Or for being a pervert.
some sort of demonic blue
You'll be a
man group.
pervert, or someone will confuse you for like a neo-Nazi painting yourself all white, you know?
I'm gonna go to
God.
TwitchCon dressed as Muhammad.
I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I could see Lost with his beard getting Goldberg speared by some big guy in security who thinks he's some sort of demonic blue man group cosplayer who's here to stab everybody.
Well, if you painted yourself white, if you have a beard, I feel like people would just think you're Kratos.
Oh yeah.
Lost
I would
looks
probably
like
think you were Kratos.
a smaller sort of emo Kratos.
Speaking of Kratos, is anyone excited for Dad of War?
I'm probably gonna get it just because of how much
Yeah,
I like the older
probably.
games.
It looks interesting because it's shifting from like the action-oriented, just like you know, Devil May Cry kind of gameplay to third-person action-adventure, you know. And that I'm like, looks interesting.
You're going from
Seems
fucking
like they're
slaying
moving away
gods.
from Greek mythology as well.
Yeah, they're
went
transitioning
from-
into like Norse mythology.
Yeah, let's go from Greek
Yeah.
to Norse, and Next will be Christian.
And then
Kratos
Islam.
versus Jesus. I love it.
I have a wallpaper on my phone of Macho Man Randy Savage elbow dropping Jesus, and it's one of my favorite things. But I mean, you're going from like slaying gods to like telling your son, or I think it's his son, like if he doesn't tie up his boots, he's gonna chop his dick off and replace it with his pinky.
He's teaching him all this stuff.
I
Oh,
like-
it's like another. It's like The Last of Us, but set in ancient times. And this time it's a boy.
I like in the trailer, like his son fucks up somehow and Kratos gets nailed by lava, but he's like, oh, fuck, it doesn't matter. But on the inside, Kratos is like deeply ashamed of his son. Like, how in the fuck would that work? Like, you're out there hunting with your dad and he gets gored, but he's like the God of War, so it doesn't kill him. But he's just looking at you because you could have stopped it.
I was surprised that he didn't get like really mad, you know, because Kratos is like that's what Kratos is known for, just unbridled rage against everything.
Backhands
Well,
his
that's
son,
what they are
snaps
trying
his
to
neck.
fix now.
Yeah, trying to make him more, you know, more likable as a character rather than like, oh, I stepped on your sambo, you piece of shit, I'm gonna rip you in half.
Backhands his
That's
I
son
think
with
it's
his
a
ring
major
finger.
theme in the. I think it's a major theme in the actual game that he needs to stop raging all the time.
Yeah, he
It's
still
like
rages
the
on that.
Logan movie, but for God of War.
Yeah,
There we go.
That's actually a good analogy.
I wonder-
So,
I wonder if he's gonna die at the end.
And
I
take over
guarantee
as a
one
son.
of them, or I guarantee one of them are gonna die.
His son's
sure.
gonna die,
We're gonna
Kratos.
take over the sun.
They wouldn't name it just God of War if fucking Kratos didn't die at the end. I guarantee you.
And then it's the son's journey for revenge to avenge his fallen father.
If
Is
they
that the
make a
plot,
God of War
everyone?
5 with the son just being a little pussy kid, I'll probably play that, honestly.
Hmm.
And you just get the shit beaten out of you and it becomes Dark Souls 4.
It is. That's the next
I'd
Souls-like
buy
game.
that.
No, you're the pussy kid from Dad of War. And then you die once, and then it transitions you to the title screen of Dark Souls 4. That's how I think they should go about that.
I think he
She's
may
like
have just
hiding
had a
behind
stroke.
that thing.
Hmm. Swam, do you got any more ideas written down on the inside of your thigh? 'Cause if not, I'm just gonna start asking random shit.
Start asking random shit, dog.
What's the
I
strangest?
ran out of thigh space.
What's the strangest thing you've ever done while masturbating? This is for
lick my
everyone.
own foot.
All right. Let's go with it. It doesn't have to be like a specific thing during the action. It's just like something you've done or something weird you've done it. Lost.
This turned quite
Oh.
sexual.
It went from us talking about games into talking about masturbation.
That's because I took the reins. This is my podcast now.
This is the Skidonic podcast. Yes.
All right.
All right.
Last. Let's-
The strangest things I've done while masturbating. I made myself a sandwich.
All right. Did you
Oh,
just
so
stop
With
in the
you-
middle?
different
You
hands
just
though.
made
I
your
want
own sandwich.
different hands. I would like to
You
say
made-
that I didn't.
You made yourself your bitch.
Hmm.
I did not supply my own mayo. Let's just put it like that, right?
You made yourself your bitch, and you were like, "Hey, Lost, yeah, you fucking like that shit, don't you, bitch? You're gonna fucking make me a sandwich while I'm doing that. Yeah." And then you did.
All right, Platinum.
Good sandwich.
I don't know if you're a minor or anything, because if you are, don't talk about this. Are you a minor?
Nah, I'm not a minor.
Oh, I couldn't
Don't
tell.
worry.
Your voice sounds like you're
Yeah.
straight out of a Disney movie, so I'm sort of cautious.
You know that indigenous kid that they always gotta put in the Disney movies to be PC? Yeah, that's me.
I thought so.
I'd say the strangest thing, I don't know, for masturbating, I guess walking around my house, like the entirety of my house while doing it. I guess.
I don't know why, but I imagine you would say walking around at the bus station.
No.
The strangest thing, this has been kind of a normal occurrence, but the strangest thing that I've done was like hold my dad while I do it.
Wait, what?
Hold.
What?
Huh?
I
Wait,
mean,
what'd you say?
Oh, wait, what?
What did you say?
Alright.
Repeat that. I think I heard something else. I think I got. Let me clean the gunk out of my ear.
You see, the reason I took the reins here is because I knew I would have the best stuff because I'm a pervert. And what I used to do is I would like challenge my
That is the weirdest.
and I used to like I could drive around my hometown, but like you see every other house there, I've jerked it there. Asked them to use their phone, then went to use the bathroom, jerked it.
Jesus Christ.
I've jerked all over this continent, and I don't do that anymore because I sort of lost interest and I kind of burned myself out on it. But I used to like challenge myself, and then driving past that place, I wouldn't say anything, but would like be looking at seeing a white flag on top of a conquered fort. I was like, I did that. I did that there. Alright. We just reached the 1 hour mark for the podcast. It actually cut out as I was getting ready to tell my story, and I had to pause to re-record. I can hear Lost is like, probably his beard probably fell out from that story.
I'm. Fucking hell. I don't know.
There's a reason.
The podcast usually turns into this, like it always got, like it starts out kind of serious, you know, we're talking,
No.
and then suddenly it just turns
Usually-
into sexual stuff at the end.
Well,
Or does it
usually,
usually start?
like the first 10 minutes is Dark Souls, and then I mention a nipple, and then it just turns into what it just did. But this last
Okay,
little bit,
so this podcast actually was kind of focused.
yeah, this one was actually probably the most focused one we've had. I got to say nipple titty, I think, once. Better than that, it's been a fairly refined podcast.
So,
I don't think it'll be
Fine.
as popular.
wait, are we ending right now, or?
Yeah, it's been about an hour. I usually like to keep it about that long. So this has been the Base Canon Podcast number 5, I think, with Death Swarm, the Pale Man, the Platinum 7 or whatever underscore it is, and then myself, Papa Skidonic.
We'll have the fucking links in this description as well as the fucking annotations to our topics, because they've actually been topics this time.
I know I can actually like put timestamps, and it's just because I tried to put timestamps one time, and it was like every other 10 seconds it was a different body part we were talking about. I couldn't keep up with it. I was like, fuck this, I'm not gonna have 7,000 annotations.
The last timestamp is going to be masturbation.
It's strangest things you've done while masturbating.
God.
That's gonna be the end.
Alright, so that's been the podcast, but bye-bye. See you. Yeah.
I'm the trouble starter.